Hello and welcome to Write On, the podcast from Final Draft. This is the show where we talk about all things screenwriting. Today we have episode 2 of our 2-part interview with Flatbush Misdemeanor staff writer and co-writer of Hip Hop Family Christmas, Saeed Crumpler. Write On's Kayla Guest chatted with Saeed about how to take notes without being precious about your work, applying to fellowships and contests, how he sets and achieves his goals, and more. Check it out.
I want to go to your path because your path is an interesting. We already talked about like you went from being, what did Boots Riley say? Great, another rapper turned screenwriter.
Yeah.
So we covered that part. You went to UCLA. You wrote your cold emails to how many people?
Like 50.
And you got how many responses?
Probably like 20.
And you signed with?
1.
And how long have you been with him now? This whole time, right?
I've been with Bellevue Zach for 2 years. Yep.
That's a very small amount of time, my friend.
Yeah, but see,
I'm taking a moment of silence for everyone else.
but I actually feel like if you put in the hard work and you set goals, I think sometimes people don't set like goals, and I feel like if you really set goals and you really go about doing it, I feel like the sky's the limit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 1,000%. The quote that I think I was going to mention that I already forgot about. I don't know who said it or who wrote it, but my favorite one is the only thing standing between you and your dreams are your bullshit excuses.
Exactly. And
that is the truth that none of us want.
Yeah. And the number one thing is I heard everything you said. I remember asking people, even my teachers, should I query? No, nobody reads queries. Really? Okay. Then
I said it.
Yeah, no, but
I mean, not to you because we didn't know each other yet. But I was actively. There's probably tweets you can find of me saying, "Don't waste your time."
And then when you get a manager, I heard, okay, you're not gonna make money for 5 years. I just feel like you're not gonna make money as a screenwriter in 5 years. You're not gonna get staffed. Now, of course, some of this is luck. I'm not saying it's all just determination, but I also feel like you create your luck. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like luck is. I think it's like preparation meets opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely feel like get some goals, stick to them, be rigorous with them, be good to yourself. Like if you have a goal of writing 30 pages in a month and you get 15, like don't beat yourself up. Just next month, try to get 45 total. Like, you know what I'm saying? But really stick with it. Don't give up. I think that's the thing that worked for me is like, I don't give up on scripts. Like sometimes you hear people and they'll be
you've never had an idea that you were just like, you got to like the second act or something. You're like, you know what, this is garbage.
Never. Cause I at least finish it. Even if I throw it away, like I got scripts that were garbage, but I didn't stop. You know what I'm saying? So like, just complete the thought. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's almost like making a song. Like, yeah, you make a song, it might be trash, but it's like, finish it. Like, you never know, so.
You might go back to it someday and edit it, evolve it into something.
Yeah, something great. Yeah, it might be a great idea like that because you're only 30 once, you're only 25 once. So let's say you wrote a script that was shitty at 25, but it still has the 25 vibe. And it's like, ooh, I might go back to that, use those characters, right? Because you'll never be that way again and like redo it, and that'll be your way in. Because now at 35, you might not be able to have a way in. Like you might not see the world like you did at 25, right?
Yeah. And, well, I could go down a whole other rabbit hole, but I'm not going to do that because I will get distracted. So then so you wrote your query letter, you got hooked up with Zach, you guys worked for a little while building up your network and taking meetings and what have you. What was the next big thing that happened for you? Didn't you got a biopic before you got a fellowship?
Yeah, no, I got a biopic before the fellowship, but once again, that came through relationships. So one thing I will say is relationships are key.
Oh, so we're going to get all into your entrepreneurial networking mindset. That's a lot of syllables.
That is a lot of syllables. Everything I got came from connections. The biopic came from a teacher from UCLA. Writing this Christmas movie came from being in a writer's group with Adria, who's the co-writer. She brought me in. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like relationships are crucial. Like all you need to do is write and meet people.
1,000%.
1,000%.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So you got the biopic. Obviously, that's still in the works, or we'd be talking about that. You then got into fellowship. So while you're doing all of your own writing that you want to do, whatever classes you're taking, you're also applying to fellowships, which in of itself is a full-time job, from having content ready, like the samples that they need ready, but also what are we calling it? The trauma porn essays. Essays that you have to write, about your, sorry.
Yeah, no, I remember.
If we start calling it what it is, it might stop.
Yeah, I think they call it personal essays, but you definitely.
That's gotta stop.
And I often hear people like, that was probably the thing I didn't want to do the most, was like, well, I got to write this personal essay and everyone needs one, and everyone you got to tweak a little bit. But I think I had entered for a year, got nowhere, right? But I already had a personal essay, right? So all I did is the next year, I just tweaked it, made it a little better, and then entered again. And then I started getting traction. And I placed in the finals of Warner Brothers, didn't get in. They're lost. But then I'm just joking. But then I ended up getting in but then I got into Nickelodeon. And what I'm saying is that I've entered in a million contests. I entered in fellowships like for 2 or 3 years, kept getting no. Who cares? Like, just continue to enter, continue to write, and continue to enter, period.
How much money would you say the last year that you spent investing in yourself, right? In terms of applying for mentorships, fellowships, contests, classes, one-off classes, how much would you estimate you last invested in yourself on that way to break in for 1 year?
Probably 1,000.
That's not terrible.
So I would definitely.
That's a lot of money for a lot of us. Yeah,
I definitely feel like you definitely need money though, because, to enter these contests costs money, to get, feedback coverage needs money. I'm not against that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I did it all. I paid for coverage. I paid contests.
I mean, they have to pay. I mean, also us. I have a biased opinion on that, so it's not really fair for me to talk on it. But yeah, I mean,
well, no, I'm just saying I did it all though, right?
Yeah,
And one thing I will say is, an opinion is an opinion. So when you pay for coverage or any of that, just know the caveat that it's not like it's going to make your script sell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because you pay somebody for a review or any of that. But, I did it all and it worked out for me. I think I always got feedback on my pilot though, and I stuck with one pilot. So my advice would be, if you have a certain amount of money to enter these contests, enter it with the same draft, right? So like, don't enter like different drafts and different ones, like get your draft down good, get as much feedback as possible, at least like 6 different eyes on it, 6 different notes, polish it up, and enter all that year with that one so you could track like where you're at. And then if you want to enter it again next year, that's fine, but just don't enter the same script like without any changes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Yeah. Cause then all you're doing is telling the industry that you're lazy.
Yeah.
Because some of that can probably come from thinking that mindset of, I just want to write the one script and make lots of money and go float in a pool with a cocktail, which doesn't exist.
No.
Not since Shane Black.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, if you don't know his name, that's that
Look him up, yeah.
That's no shade on anyone. It's just the truth. People, don't at me. Okay, so you went to the Nickelodeon Fellowship when you worked on content and a genre that you hadn't before, and now you are. Then what happened?
I got into the Nickelodeon Fellowship, which changed my life in a sense, because Nickelodeon's fellowship, unlike other fellowships, it's paid. So you're technically an employee of CBS Viacom. And so it allowed me to not have to work. And exactly. Oh my goodness. And writing becomes your work. So it's a full year. I learned so much in there. I'm also a believer that like, you need to be constantly learning, like you never can learn enough. Right. So,
Yes, I am well aware.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
of your consumption.
Yeah, exactly. And so, it was dope. I just got out of it because I got staffed. And I think everybody I think this was the first year that everybody from the Nickelodeon Fellowship got staffed, like all 4 of us, which is super dope. But yeah, I mean, that's what these fellowships are there for. It's there to teach you you know, how to outline, teach you what it's like to be in a room. I was able to shadow a room, which is priceless because it prepared me for when I got into a room. We got to work on scripts, get notes. We took improv classes. Like they honed my 5-minute pitch, you know what I'm saying? Which, you know, I was good at interviews before, but like shit, after that after going through the program, it just made it just on point. Yeah. And all that is priceless. And then, you know, they got me my first staffing gig. So shout out to Nickelodeon.
Where's your staffing gig? Where are you at? What show?
I'm at Showtime right now with Flatbush Misdemeanor Season 2. Yeah.
What's your role in that room, right? Because everyone gets hired for a different specialty. Are you the dialogue guy? Are you the research guy? What's your...
I try to do a little bit. I try to do a little bit of both within a room, but the showrunner told me, is like, "Yo, you in here for your jokes." So
yes,
like, you know what I'm saying?
58 years old with an OnlyFans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
The Black Christmas matters.
Black Christmases matter. Yeah,
absolutely chortled at that one. That was great. I want to talk about your discipline in general. I call you Coach Crump online, as jokingly, but like really. You have a system of your own, and not only is it a good system, like you do not deter from it whatsoever. You know, like you are absolutely okay with seeing 0 humans and doing nothing but writing and consuming all things screenwriting. I mean, I've even heard you break down your time of like, I've got 30 minutes to catch up on this show because I need to know it for this meeting. And then I'm going to write like a page. I'm just like, take a nap.
I can't.
Rest is good. So let's talk about your work ethic, Coach Crump. I want to hear about it. First, let's talk about at the top of your list of items that you would probably coach on would be notes on notes on notes.
Yes.
Quick tip on notes.
Get them early and often. The sooner you can get notes on something, the better, because then you don't get attached to it. I feel like people get upset at notes or criticism when they've sat with something for like 6 months. Like if you wrote something in a month and somebody gives you notes, it's like, all right, cool. But like if you've been working on it for like 6 months or a year, then it's way more personal to you. So get feedback early and often.
Okay. We're going to do this because there are a lot of opinions about the craft of and the business of screenwriting. And we're going to just try to help change the conversation by starting it off with what's your opinion on getting notes. You're a new screenwriter. You've just heard the term for a first time of getting feedback and notes. What's the first step?
The first step is to relax and don't take anything the person says personally. Yeah. And don't let them say their notes and say, okay, yep. Even if on the inside you're like, what the fuck is going on? God, this is gonna ruin my whole, you know what I mean? It's like,
questioning all of their celebrations online of the things they've sold. I'm kidding.
Yeah, like just breathe, you know, just take it in.
Yeah. Okay. I want to know, what is your opinion on, actually not your opinion. What are your top 5 screenwriting podcasts that you listen to? Because I know that's all you do. P.S. Other content producers love everything on video.
Yeah, but I Final Draft, of course.
Right on. The very podcast you're on now.
Yes. I listen to On the Page, the Screenwriters Rant Room, which is great.
I guess have it, man.
Yes. Hilliard is the best. I listen to Third and Fairfax, the WGA one. And what is that, 4?
That's 4. We need
so
more.
5, I will say The Screenwriting Life with Meg LaFave and Lauren McKenna.
Okay. And if you weren't on the Final Draft podcast, what's your 5th slot?
One more?
It doesn't have to be screenwriting. It could be filmmaking or something that just helps you in the world of screenwriting.
I would say the Calm app. I would say the Calm app is I know it's not a podcast, but the Calm app is crucial. I do 10-minute listenings every morning. That helps like center me and clean my palate. So I would say the Calm app first, then you could dive into those.
Okay, so meditation is another, well, and that's what I wanted to talk about. So first tell me, like, your meditation practice, you already said to use the Calm app. There's a million different options that people can look for. You can also find like sound baths and things like many, many, many different ways to air quote, meditate. Really, it's just about being still and not thinking about your regular day, right? Giving your mind and everything a rest. When do you meditate? First thing in the morning, you said?
Yeah, first thing.
The purpose of that is to start, because I meditate at night.
I got to try that.
Put it all down.
No, my goal is to do meditate in the morning and at night too. But I definitely.
So you do slack off. Okay.
Yeah, I do. I have. Yeah, exactly. If it's one thing I haven't done is meditate twice.
The self-care. What a surprise.
Yeah, like I want to. Yeah, I fall asleep typing on my MacBook. No, I definitely early in the morning. I like to just clear my mind. You know what I'm saying? And relax and breathe, center myself, and then start my day. But I got to try it at night though.
It's usually helpful. I usually have to add weed, but
it's not bad.
Listen, if you have racing thoughts all the time,
come on.
I don't have a quiet mind, and I know that I'm not the only one. And it's music, like the sound baths and cannabis. I can absolutely just sit there, close my eyes and float. And I just feel so refreshed afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really good for my mood too.
I think creatives have to have some kind of mental care. Like I think creatives have to, like, whether it's, therapy or, all of that, all of the above, like meditation, like
mental health
is key.
A disgusting problem right now in the whole world, especially not especially, it's important in every aspect of where it is. But what I'm saying in writing, writers are
tapping in.
By design, they are revisiting trauma.
Facts.
Tapping in.
Facts.
This is how we teach people the codes.
Yeah, for real.
It's just one of those situations, where you're visiting trauma and then you just have to like jump in and talk about regular day stuff, or go home and you have to be putting on your mom hat or whatever, that maybe you have a second job, maybe you have a third job, who knows? But especially if you're like a support staff, you probably have other things to attend to make that money. And if you have just spent the whole day listening to everyone unload trauma, that could be triggering for you. It's a whole other conversation, but yes, I agree. Therapize and meditate. 1000%. I want to get your reading list. What are your top 5 books that you use for yourself to educate yourself or just to keep yourself motivated or disciplined, whatever? What's your top 5 reading list as a screenwriter?
Bird by Bird and Lamont, which is fire. I know I owe you a copy, Kayla. It's coming. It's coming for Christmas. William Goldman, The Secrets of the Screenwriting Trade, which is hard to find because it's out of print, but it's an amazing book on the industry because you learn from the past. And if you know anything about the past, always repeats itself. So it's like he's one of the dopest screenwriters, but it's all about his experience in the 70s, late 70s writing scripts. So definitely that. And he's one of the godfathers, like.
How'd you get your hands on it then? Put us on your game.
I got it used. You know what I'm saying? I think you can find it used on eBay. But it's a great book. It's all beat up too, which I like. It has flavor. Another book is War of Art by Stephen Pressfield.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Jenna Avery sent me that book.
Fire.
I love that book.
Yeah, that's dope. I would say now as far as screenwriting, there's a book called The TV Showrunner's Roadmap that Neil Landau did. He was a teacher I had at UCLA. He was also Stephen Canal's teacher. It pretty much just gives you a basic, like, in-depth review on like the stuff you have to do when you're thinking about like writing television shows. And that's dope. And then I would say lastly, probably Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, which is a dope book. She's a writer, and it's just dope because she never thought of herself as a writer, but she became a humongously popular writer. I'm trying to remember the book. I think she wrote Eat, Pray, Love. It's dope to just hear her opinion on like how she thought about herself, how she thinks about herself now. And it's kind of like a good book to read if you don't think you're a writer. And so those will be the books. And as far as like...
Well, I'm surprised you haven't recommended that one to me.
Oh, here you go.
I'm always going on. I'm not really.
Here you are a writer, but here we go now. So check that book out. And then I would probably say just look at a lot of screenwriter interviews. If there's a certain screenwriter you like, Google his name or her name and Google their name and Google interviews, and you'll learn a lot from their interviews. So.
Oh, you know what? I think I know we're going to have you back because eventually you're going to be like running a show in probably a studio or something.
Yes.
It's true. It's true. But I think that it's really important to talk about, treating each script as a new business.
Yeah.
The entrepreneurial mindset. I mean, there's just so much to cover. It's impossible, obviously. I want to talk about that a little bit because I think that, and then we'll get to like a last question and I'll let you go.
For sure.
Because I'm sure our listeners have to like go to the bathroom or something now.
They have to go write. So yeah, no, I get it.
Oh yeah. Writing. I hear so many people like give the opinion of just keep writing. And then I hear people saying, I'm so tired of hearing just keep writing, but it's so true. The only way you're going to become an epic writer is if you've done it so much that you could do it with your eyes closed.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but let's talk about like, you talked earlier about not making things, personal, not making things. So what was the term that you used?
Yeah. Don't take it so seriously, the feedback.
Seriously. Right. So is that because, how do you get there? Is it because you treat each project like a business, or at what point do you start treating it like something you have to market and, actually switch gears that way, the entrepreneurial side?
So coming from music, I know I used to look at each song as like a ball of clay that had to be sculpted. So I look at scripts the same way, even more so, because I feel like you get even more time to make it better. I feel like in music, it's like you only have a certain amount of time, but with screenwriting, you have like a lot of time to make it better. So why not make it better? For me, as far as commercial, I don't necessarily think about commercial. I think one of the benefits of being a new writer is we're not jaded by the industry and not influenced by the industry yet. So like, I feel like my starting point is always, what would I want to see? Because I just came from watching shows, right? So like, I'm 3 years removed from like not being in the industry, right? So it's like my superpower. My superpower is I know what I would want to see. So write that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I just use that as my North Star and then let everything else handle itself. I just write what I want to see.
That's how I cook.
Hey.
I just had a conversation with my kid last night. She was like, how do you know like when you have enough of I was like, I don't know, man. That's why I don't bake, because I forget about things. I don't have actual measurements. I just, if it tastes good, then that's a little more I make.
Hey, sound like my grandma. She never it's like, how much is daddy put in there? Just a little bit. You're like, well, how much is a little bit? I don't know. Like I just put a little bit of love. So
enough to taste good. That's how much.
Exactly. And that's and it's the same thing. It's like, I feel like write what you're passionate about, write what you want to see, because when you read the script, just like when you eat the meal, you can feel the love, you know what I'm saying? And the passion comes through the pages. So stick with that. Worry about all that other shit later. Like, is this commercial? I feel like too many people think about that. Like, just write what you want to see. Like, write what moves you.
I mean, I laugh about the write what you want to see because it inspires other ideas. But I'll just leave that there. I will leave that there. So what's next for you? Like, what's end game for you? I mean, I don't like that term because there's no end, right? But like, what's the goal here? What would you like to see the arc of your career look like in screenwriting, assuming there will be a third act?
Yeah, no, definitely. I want to continue writing television and writing features. I've had the opportunity to, get hired to write 2 features. I'm working on a spec right now. So to me, I just want to be in a room working on a show. If I'm not working on a show, I want to be writing a feature. If I'm not writing a feature, I want to be in a room. And then I want to run my own shows and run a network and hire you. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry, Bill.
Head of development. No.
Okay. Well, if you want to just go ahead and drop that salary right here, then I don't have to waste my time writing up a letter.
I'll write a check for 20. What is it? Give myself 5 years. What is this? 2027?
Yeah.
I'll write a check for 2020. Don't cash it till 2027.
I can't. If you put the date on there,
yeah, please.
the laws. There's like actual people that would look just for that. I don't think the wire would go through.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, it ain't enough for it right now, but it's coming.
Right. So we gotta find my replacement by 2027. Got it.
You got time.
Saeed, so before we let you go, we ask everyone that comes on the show, what is some advice that you would give your younger writer self? Like what you know now, what you've been through, what you've experienced from getting signed with Zach over at Bellevue to being on this podcast here tonight, even if it was something that went down yesterday that you learned.
I would say run to the fear. So like if you fear spending $5,000, because I feared it. If you fear spending $5,000 on a UCLA program, do it. If you fear writing that script about a 50-year-old pimp, write it. If you fear querying managers because nobody says, you can get a manager that way, do it. If you fear applying to fellowships, apply. Like whatever your fear is, just run to it. It'll be all right.
That's a really good advice. And I'm going to leave it there.
Mic drop.
Thanks again to Saeed Crumpler for coming on the show. You can stream Flatbush Misdemeanors and Hip Hop Family Christmas right now. And as always, thanks to you, our listeners. If you liked this episode, leave us a review. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the show on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. For news about new episodes and more, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Final Draft Inc. and on Instagram at Final Draft Screenwriting. This podcast was produced by Kayla Guess and co-produced by Emma Vranich. Editing is by Sean Bonnet. Music is by T. Kelly. Thanks again, everyone. Until next time, write on.